Hi again, welcome to another episode of Cook the Book. I am Tina.
I'm Valerie.
This is Valerie. We're here today to have a focus of New York City. If you're new to Cook the Book, what we do is we pick a fiction book each month and we get inspiration from it to then find a recipe that is inspired by that fiction book. So with our theme of New York City, we've got our fiction book, which is a new one who's getting a lot of publicity called Stone Cold Fox. And then we're going to do a New York style recipe out of our food and wine cookbook. So just to talk a little bit about the fiction book, again, it's Stone Cold Fox by Rachel Koller Croft. This is her first novel. She is a very prominent screenplay writer in LA, and that is her background, and that really does come across in the book in the way that it's written. You really can imagine, some books are easier to imagine what's happening in your mind as you're reading them, and I think because of her screenplay background, that really helps her in being an author. It's set in New York City. The main character is Bee. She is raised by her mother, and she is raised by a mother who is a complete con artist. Grifter, doing whatever it takes to get money from others. And this is Bee's entire childhood and upbringing. She's taught these same ways also. And that is how they succeed in life. So as Bee becomes an adult, she decides that she does not want to live this type of lifestyle. This is not for her. She doesn't want to be an adult who's constantly looking to see what they can get from others. But she decides her best course of action is to find a rich, wealthy man to fall in love with her, to provide for her for the rest of her life. So she does have to use a few of her con artist gold digging skills to get in with a very wealthy man who comes from a very prominent family in New York City. And he is a little socially awkward, so he quickly falls for her because, you know, she is very beautiful. She knows all the lines to say. And she decides once they fall in love and get married, she will just live happily ever after. Well, of course, it's a book, so that's not going to happen. You're like 25% into the book, so you know that's not going to happen. So, of course, his family doesn't care for her. His best friend, who is a female, doesn't care for her. She kind of sees right through her for who she is, that she's really a gold digger. So the book just kind of takes off from there as far as what's happening in their relationship, what's happening with his best friend, the female, her name is Gail, and his family, how things start to disintegrate, and it is really kind of true. You cannot run away from your past. So that is kind of what transpires in this book. It had an ending that I did not see coming, and again, it's received so much publicity, and I do like nice covers, and there's just something about this cover that's very appealing to me. The book does have some strong language in it, so if you're someone who is put off by that, maybe this is not the book for you, or you could be like me and just kind of glaze over those parts because it really doesn't have much to do with the story. So it was a very entertaining read, and again, being set in New York City, we decided to look in our food and wine best of the best recipes, and these are great compilation type cookbooks. Food and Wine takes the best recipes from each year and puts them together into one volume. So like this is volume 16. So there's a whole section in here from various types of cookbooks. So let me get to the right page. Okay, maybe I'm not on the right page. 168, all right, let's see here. Lots of great pictures in this book, and we have other food and wine compilations like this also. So we're going to make the New York Breakfast Casserole, which looks amazing, and it actually is from the Smitten Kitchen cookbook, which is a cookbook by Deb Perelman. She has an awesome online presence and has for more than a decade. She has a great food blog that she calls the Smitten Kitchen, so you can always Google her. So they deemed her cookbook one of the best from the previous year, and her recipe for the New York Breakfast Casserole, which instead of using bread, uses bagels, we thought would be fun and different, and again, it keeps with our New York theme. So Valerie is gonna show us how to make this amazing breakfast casserole.
Okay, cool. This breakfast casserole is super easy. It smells really good. And one of the things I do like about this that it's different is the bagels. So in order to make this casserole, you need 8 cups of sliced up bagels, so just in little pieces. So in order to do this, we're gonna start by putting, well, you're gonna grease or butter your pan. And then you're going to put 1/3 of your bagel pieces down. In this recipe, you do it in thirds. So, and I think that's just the best to get all the toppings or all the ingredients spread evenly around. So make sure you get a good layer on the bottom. All right. So then from here, you're just gonna add your other ingredients in there. So for your onion, you just need, it's a 1/4 of a chopped, or 1/4 of a red onion. Sliced or chopped, I chose to do the slices, so.
And with the bagels, is it necessary to use plain bagels, or if you wanted to use like everything bagels or other?
I would assume you could use everything bagels. I think garlic bagels would be good in this.
Oh, that would be good.
I don't know, I like garlic, so.
Yes.
I just think that would be good. And then just make sure your toppings are just kind of spread evenly over everything. Tomatoes, you just need 1.5 cups. So all of these you're gonna just divide into thirds.
I love breakfast casserole recipes, especially ones like this one that require to be in the refrigerator overnight. Because then it's so simple that next morning, especially if you have guests or it's Christmas, to just get it out and pop it in the oven.
Yes, definitely. I do love that. The spinach, I kind of added on my own. My family likes spinach, and I thought the color would be just kind of fun to add to it. So I just used, I don't know, a couple cups of chopped up spinach just to add in there. All right. And then your cream cheese is just odd size pieces that you cut up. It's just an 8-ounce block of cream cheese, just slightly chilled. And then you can just drop 1/3 of the pieces in here, just kind of randomly. Oops.
And looking at the finished product, this would be a super fun one to do the multicolored bagels too. Or swirling in color, that would be so pretty.
That would be fun. All right. So then we're just gonna repeat the process here. Your pan does get pretty full, but once you pour the liquid on it, they kind of squish down a little bit. So when I was making, I was like, oh gosh, that's pretty full. But you can see it just
settles down.
Yeah,
it soaks up that liquid.
Ooh, and the neat thing about when it's baking is it gets super puffy. And they do recommend with that you bake it on a tray, just to make sure, but it didn't spill over or anything. So
and really you could adjust this recipe kind of however you would like. If you wanted to throw in a little bit of cooked ground sausage or
absolutely,
or artichokes, or you know, your family doesn't like tomatoes, leave out the tomatoes, throw in something else.
Oh yeah, you could do bell peppers, you could do, really, like you said, artichokes, you could do, gosh, anything in here. I love recipes like that you can kind of make your own and they still turn out wonderful.
And this is the first breakfast casserole recipe I've ever seen that uses bagels, which I think is so interesting.
I've seen them, I've not seen bagels, I've seen croissants done before, which always a favorite.
That would be delicious, I bet. And with that recipe, cut up like this, or do you put them in whole, I wonder?
Just cut up like this, just cubed up, yeah. Another thing I was wondering about this too, like, if you could use the dried tomatoes, kind of like we used in our last recipe, with the pasta. I was wondering if that would be good. So I would think it would be.
Especially with you putting the liquid in, it would allow them to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think that would probably be a good substitution if you didn't have access to fresh tomatoes, or if you just prefer that.
Yeah.
So let's do this.
In a way, it's kind of like layering a lasagna.
It really is. Yeah, it's kind of fun to make. And the one that we made over there, my daughter was helping me with it, and she had fun with it. And she's not really little, she's a teen. But even little ones could help throw stuff in the pan, so that would be a good thing for them too.
Yes. But if you had it, like you have everything prepared ahead of time, then they could just help you layer it.
Oh yeah, and it's so much easier just to have it all prepared and ready to go. I'm gonna actually, oops, throw a little bit more of this. Ran out of a little space there because these do take up quite a bit of space. So, all right, and this will be our top layer.
I've got a feeling, like most breakfast casseroles, this one probably reheats really well also.
I would think so, just based on the ingredients, and anything like that I think does reheat pretty well. And then honestly, I know you let it sit overnight, but the flavors would probably be really good reheated.
I bet so, yes.
Just because they'd have so much time to blend.
Yes. And you know, if you have a family that enjoys some spiciness, you could probably put a little Tabasco or red hot sauce or something with it as it sits overnight. Or if you have only a few people in your family, like I do, that like that kind of flavor, once you have baked it, then they could add it to their own to spice it up a little bit.
That's what my husband does, because we're all spice wimps in our house, so yeah. But he's the one who likes the spicy stuff, and we're like, So he's pretty used to adding his own hot sauce to everything we will add it in. But you're right, you could definitely do that with this. Or I would even think like the red pepper flakes, you could probably just lightly sprinkle on the top.
Oh yeah.
Since it's, you know, with tomatoes and cream cheese and stuff, that'd probably be just fine.
Yeah.
All right, our last couple pieces here. And I would do, if you decide to do something like spinach, I would just kind of chop it up into little small pieces, because I think it's gonna go a little bit better in here. So, all right. So then when we're done with this, then it just has the egg mixture on it, which that's pretty easy to do. Again, my daughter cracked open all the eggs for me and mixed it up and did all that. So, there's good. Okay. All right. So now that we have our casserole all kind of put together, let's do. Sorry, I got the cream cheese stuff all over here. Okay. All right. So then it's just 8 whole eggs. And 2.5 cups of milk, or half and half. I do the half and half. I just like the richer flavor. So just put that together. And then it's 1 teaspoon of salt.
And again, like most of the recipes we do, very easy to find ingredients.
Yeah, these are definitely
no, you know, odd things going on. So yeah,
and the fun pepper maker.
Yeah, that's kind of high end. I noticed that.
All right, and then you just want to mix these up so they're nice and blended. And then my only thing, every time I make casseroles like this though, I always end up splashing this off the side.
Yeah,
it's on the table or on the counter, and I'm like, oh no. Blended up there. All right, let's see if I can make this happen without.
I have every confidence in you.
Well, thank you. and then you just pour it on here, and then you will just cover it, and oh, see, I knew it every time.
I'm reading about the author of this recipe, again, Deb Perelman from the Smitten Kitchen. She said she was inspired to come up with this recipe after she was in the South and had a similar one, only instead of bagels, it was made with tater tots.
Oh.
So to put her New York spin on it, she put the bagels in, though I'm thinking tater tots also would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I would assume you would cook them first, probably. Like bake them first so they wouldn't be super soggy. I don't know. I may need to investigate that.
Gosh, yeah. All right. So basically, I'm just pushing this down just to try to get all the pieces to get into the liquid here a little bit. So.
And then when you put it in the fridge overnight, you just put foil on it?
Yeah, that's all I did was just put the foil on it. Or if you have a casserole dish that has a cover, you could just use that too. So just kind of press it down in there. Because you just really want your bagel pieces to get all
that moisture.
Yeah, all the little egg mixture in it. Because that's what's going to make it really good. So, all right.
All right, and then when you get it out the next morning, cover it with foil to go into the oven?
No, so I let it sit out about a half hour. So I'm just always afraid to put my cold dish straight into a hot oven. I'm afraid it's, maybe that's just a myth, I don't know. I'm afraid it's going to crack. So I just got it out about a half hour before I wanted to put it in the oven. And then I put it in the oven. It says about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. I did an hour and 15 minutes. About a half hour in, I just placed a piece of foil on it. I didn't tighten it down. It was just laying on top. I just put the shiny side up because that reflects the heat. And then that way it'll continue to cook, but not get overly brown. So that's what I did with that. But yeah, well, and then you'll know it's done. So when the time's up, just test it with I use just a regular metal butter knife, and just insert it into the center, and your butter knife should just come out clean. So
okay, good to know. So you probably noticed our completed one here, and if you want to see what the cut version looks like, there you go. Look how nice that looks on the side.
It does.
So awesome. Well, thank you for joining us again for this episode of Cook the Book. We're here every month with a new fiction book and a new recipe to try. And as always, we really pride ourselves here at the library in getting in the new and the best fiction, adult fiction, picture books, everything there is. So if you're in the area, we would love to have you stop in. And maybe we've inspired you to read Stone Cold Fox, or maybe to make a breakfast casserole. All right, we will see you next time.
Bye.